I didn't mark the day this time. No plans, no reminders set on my phone. Just a quiet awareness in the background, like noticing the weather without checking the forecast. By evening, I already knew how it would go. A late message, if anything. Maybe a call the next day, framed like timing had simply slipped. It wasn't even disappointing anymore, just consistent. When the message finally came, short, casual, hours after it would have mattered, I read it once and set my phone face down. I didn't reply right away. There wasn't anything new to say. It had been like this for a while, not just birthdays, graduations, small wins, even things I'd tried to share in passing. Attention seemed to orbit somewhere else, and I'd learned to adjust around it. Quietly, without making it a conflict, a week later my dad emailed me, not a message, an attachment, a PDF. I almost didn't open it. I thought maybe it was a mistake, something forwarded without context. But when I did, it was structured, itemized. Clean formatting. A total at the bottom, 2200. A note above it. We split even here. It took me a second to understand what I was looking at. Then the details lined up. Venue, catering, decorations. My brother's birthday. The yacht party I hadn't been invited to. I sat there longer than I expected to, not reacting, just noticing the language, the assumption, the way it had been framed like something obvious, something already agreed upon. There wasn't anger exactly, more like something settling into place. I thought about replying immediately, explaining why it didn't make sense, listing the reasons, pointing out the gaps. But I stopped myself. That approach had never changed anything before. It just turned into explanations, then dismissals, then silence again. So I didn't explain. I sent $1. In the note I wrote, "I'm not on board." Then I closed the email. After that, I made a few changes. Not dramatic ones, just practical. I went through the accounts we shared, streaming services, subscriptions, a couple of cards that had been added over time. Casually, without much discussion, I removed my access. And there's no announcements. No messages, just quiet adjustments. It didn't take long. The first text came that evening, confused, asking if something was wrong with the accounts. Then another, more direct. Then a call I didn't pick up. By the next day, the tone had shifted. Urgency, irritation, questions layered with assumptions. I read them, but I didn't respond right away. I wasn't trying to ignore them. I just didn't feel the need to rush back into a conversation that had always followed the same pattern. Then it escalated. They reported the charges as fraud. That part surprised me, not because of the action itself, but because of how quickly it moved outside the family. It became procedural. Documented. A day later, the bank called. The representative sounded neutral, careful. They explained there had been a report, that they needed to verify some transactions and account changes. Their questions were precise, structured. For the first time, the situation wasn't being filtered through tone or history. It was just facts. Did you authorize the removal of these users from your accounts? Yes. Were the charges on these cards made with your consent? Yes. There was a pause as they processed the answers. I could hear typing in the background. Then there's also a claim regarding an unpaid balance related to a personal agreement. Are you aware of this? I almost smiled at the phrasing. Yes, I said, I am. Another pause, shorter this time. And can you confirm whether you agreed to that payment? No. The silence that followed felt different, not heavy, just clear. Understood, they said. Based on your statements, there doesn't appear to be unauthorized activity on your end. We'll note this accordingly. That was it. No argument, no reinterpretation. Just a boundary recognized in plain terms. After the call, I sat with my phone in my hand for a while. There were more messages waiting, missed calls. A voicemail I didn't listen to immediately. I wasn't avoiding it. I just didn't feel pulled toward it the way I used to. When I finally did listen, the words were sharper. Frustration, confusion, a sense of being wronged. It sounded familiar, but also distant. I didn't call back that day or the next. It wasn't about punishment. I wasn't trying to make them feel anything specific. I just didn't have anything new to add that wouldn't circle back to the same place. The silence that followed stretched out, but it didn't feel like before. It wasn't the kind that comes from being overlooked. It felt chosen. There's a difference between being left out and stepping back. I hadn't understood that clearly until now. I still think about what comes next, whether this is temporary or something that settles into a new normal. There's no clear answer. But something has shifted, and it's not loud or dramatic, just stable. And for the first time in a long while, that feels enough.